And I do agree that I think females, we don't necessarily look for the right things. For example, myself, I wasn't like sexually active until my 20s. So sex was always out of the picture when it came to relationships. So I had a list of basically like all of the responsible things that I was looking for in a man. Finally, when I found that, the sex was off. The sex was off. The sex was off.
So women's desire plummets, but we interpret it as women are less interested in sex, rather than women are interested in probably just about the same kind of things that many men are. But women have always known what to choose above what turns them on, which was what gives them stability and security in their life.
Safety, security, family,
right.
Someone to protect, be there, right?
Welcome to BW London Podcast. So I'm on holiday. I'm standing at a cove in Devon, listening to the sea, and I'm just being reflective, thinking about how much the world has changed. It's changed so much in regards to women. I even wonder if we're somewhat perverse, the way we think about the world now, especially sexually, talking specifically sexually. Because in fact, I'm going to slot in a video right here.
So, I mean, one of the fascinating things for me in looking at sexuality is that it's probably one of the dimensions of relationship that has changed the most in a very, very short amount of time. For most of history, and in still the majority of the world, sex is for procreation. Sex is a marital duty on the part of the woman. Nobody cares particularly if she likes it and how she feels and if she wants it. And men have the privilege to go and find sex elsewhere. Wow. In a very short amount of time, we're talking 60 years, we have contraception, which is the liberation of women for the first time to free sex from reproduction, from mortality, from death in pregnancy and in childbirth, all of that. And for the first time, sexuality moves from just biology and a condition to a part of our identity and a lifestyle.
In 60 years.
In 60 years. The women's movement, which goes after the abuses of power. The gay movement, which introduces the concept of identity to sexuality. The fact that sex is for connection and pleasure. The fact that for the first time we have sex before marriage. And many times, a lot. We used to marry and have sex for the first time. Now we marry and we stop having sex with others. Okay?
Right.
Monogamy used to be one person for life. Now monogamy is one person at a time. And people go around telling you, I'm monogamous in all my relationships. And it makes perfect sense to them. Okay?
Sure.
All of that in a very short amount of time. The fact that I choose you to marry or to live together, doesn't matter, commitment, because I'm attracted to you, because you give me butterflies in my stomach, and the fact that I think that if I don't have these butterflies anymore, maybe I don't love you anymore. And the fact that sexuality in long-term relationships is rooted in one thing only, desire. I feel like it. I want to. Not I have to. Not we want many kids. After 2 kids, the only reason to continue doing it with you is because we feel like it.
Right, it's
and
fun.
hopefully
It's
pleasurable. We connect. It feels good. It rounds up
Deepens
the
our
edge,
relationships,
the whole thing. That's it. And hopefully it's at the same time and for each other. Because plenty of desire continues, but it's not always at home.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Things have really changed, and I'm a part of that generation who only knows things that way, where we only consider how men can satisfy us. That's like a genuine criteria. And to imagine 60 years ago, it never was. I was speaking to a friend recently, and she met a guy, a really good guy, doing really well for himself, a much older guy than her, and got a nice home and everything. And the first thing she said is, what if he isn't good in bed? And it was just weird because I'd already thought with that acquaintance, I would call it, and another from years back, because we go back from childhood, and I thought, I wonder if that's what brings us together. Really and truly, now I can see it's just us being modern women that brings us together, but I used to wonder if that's what brought us together, this kind of obsession with what a man like is in bed.
So what people do, look, we want one partner today to give us everything that involves stability and security and everything that involves playfulness and mystery. Okay, that's the grand ideal. Okay? I want to be cozy with you, and I want to have an edge, and I want you to surprise me, and I want you to be familiar, and I want you to give me continuity, and I want you to give me novelty. That's it. As if it's a right? And no Victoria's Secret is going to solve that.
Yeah.
Right?
But you know, there's so many things of old, because recently I started walking toward the supermarkets, and it's a good little distance, a good hour walk. But I thought back in the day, women probably walked so much, and washing your own clothes and cleaning, it was exercise in itself, because there weren't no gyms. So much has changed in 60 years, like so much. It's even the simplest of things, because I'm here with my children, we have no Wi-Fi, so we went out and bought some board games. We had so much fun. But obviously that's how families would have spent time together back in the day. Even that's changed massively, but I think most people are aware of that one. That's why we have rules like no phones at the table and turning off phone times, because, you know, majority of people can see how ridiculous that's got.